Today we're going to talk about finding the slope of a line using just a graph. This is always one of the hardest ones to do. So I'm going to show you a very easy way. So what we are going to do is we're going to find 2 points on the graph and we are going to trace the rise over the run. Guys, rise is to go up. So that's your y-axis. And then the run, when you run from left to right. So that's going to be your x-axis. So when I tell you rise to run, rise is y units up, and then it's x to the left, okay? Guys, your slope is y over x, y over x. So we have talked about that. It is y over x, rise over run. And I believe you used that terminology in science already. So we're going to trace the points, the rise over run from points B to C. So to get from B to C, that's all you have to do, okay? And then you're going to tell me how many did you go up and how many did you go over. We kind of did this when we did Pythagorean theorem. We made these right triangles. So up, we went up 4. So your rise is 4. And you had to go over 6. So your run is 6. So if you want to put the rise over the run, or y over x, you're going to put 4 over 6. Please remember, if it's a fraction, you have to reduce. So that would be 2/3. Your slope is 2/3. Is this line going to be going increasing or decreasing? If it's increasing, it's positive. If it's decreasing, it's negative. And same thing here. Your slope is positive, so it's positive. It's asking about the 2 triangles. If we look at the 2 triangles, which I've only made one currently, so this would be my other one from point A to point B, up 2 over 3. If you notice, that was my reduced fraction. So the 2 triangles are similar because they have the same scale factor. So if we do this again on another line, we're still doing y over x, still wanting to do y over x, the rise over the run. It says from point R to point S. So I want to go from this one to this one. So rise is the up and down. So I'm having to go down 1, 2, 3, 4. And so since you went down, it would be -4, kind of like on our translation. So if you go down, it's negative. If you go up, it's positive. So down 4 to the right 2. So this would be -4 over 2. Or, guys, if you simplify that, that would be -2. -2, okay? Let's do another one so that you can see that all of these slopes are the same thing. So it says from Q to T. So we want to go from this one all the way to this one. If I go from this one, we do rise first. If I go all the way down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I went 8 down, so I went -8. And to go from here to here, I went 4 to the right. So this would be -8 over 4 or -2. And if you notice, these are the same. Even though their fractions were not the same, the fractions aren't congruent, your triangles aren't congruent, they are similar because they have that same scale factor. So they are similar. Is the slope negative or positive? It's negative. You can even see it's a decreasing line, so that means it's negative. Now, I do want to make a point here. Guys, you're only going to be able to find your slope here is if your line is at a constant rate. So if it's a line, essentially, if it's linear, then you can find your slope this way. Okay, you don't have to use the y2 minus y1. You can do that, but really just rise over run, up, right, or down, left, whatever it happens to be. You can see that this is an increasing graph. It's increasing. So guys, your slope is going to be positive. If I go from point M to O, up 1 over 3. So up 1, my rise is 1, my run is 3, 1, 3. Same thing here from O to Q. O to Q, this time I'm doing a bigger triangle. Up 2, and this would be over 6. Up 2 over 6. 2 over 6 is the same thing as 1 over 3. So is the slope positive or negative? Well, we use positive numbers, so it is positive. Also, I can tell because it's an increasing line. And then are those two triangles you made congruent or similar? They are similar because one triangle is bigger than the other, but they do have the same scale factor. All right, so here's what I need you to do. Go from W to Y and tell me what your rise over your run is. So you had to go 8 up and 6 to the right. Guys, 8 over 6, or Y over X, rise over run. And if you simplify that, you are going to get 4/3. So your slope is 4/3. The next one, I need you to go from X to Z, please. This one would also be 8 over 6. Guys, 8 over 6 is the same thing as 4/3. It is a positive line, and the reason it's positive is, first off, I went up and to the right, so up is positive, to the right is positive. Also, the reason it's positive is because it's an increasing line, so this one's positive. The two triangles I gave you, are they congruent or similar? They are congruent. All right, this is the last one that we are going to do using this edpuzzle and together. After this, you are going to be doing this on a worksheet in Kami on your own. So we want to go from G to E. Please make sure you have to do your rise, your Y first, and then your X, your run. So from G to E, we're going to go down and then to the right. So guys, to get from here to here, you had to go down. That's negative. So you had to go -4 and then over 6. So rise over run, -4 over 6. Or if you simplify, -2 over 3. This is your slope. Next one wants you to go from H to G. So from H to G, down to -2 over 3. -2 over 3. And you should notice that if you're doing this, that's a constant rate. It's a linear line, that these two should always simplify to the same thing. Because we did have to simplify, they are congruent. And because you can see that there's a negative sign because I went down. Because I went down, this is going to be negative. Also, it's a decreasing graph. So from here, you need to go to Canvas. And again, it's Unit 3, Week 5, Tuesday, exactly where you found this edpuzzle. And what you are going to do for me is you are going to do the Kami assignment that are over what is the slope of a graph. Guys, you have until the end of the period to get this turned in. End of the period. If you have any questions, please email me.